back to using the phone as a selfie. Now I'm in the process of rewiring the boat, and I'm going to begin with the engine. And I've removed a good portion of the rat's nest, as you can see. These are wires that lead forward through the mast because of its instrumentation, as well as that looks like well, no, maybe not. I was going to say that looks like an antenna connection for the mast, but we've got one running to the stern. Anything left back here is either running forward or running to the stern. And as I'm not going to be taking down the mast anytime soon, I'm going to leave that there for now. Okay. Now, what I'm focusing on right now is this little guy right here, which is my ignition switch. There are 3 connections there. One says IG, one says BAT, and the other one says ST, so ignition, battery, and starter. I'm guessing these all need to be hooked up to the engine. Now, for the Atomic 4, it's a very well supported engine, and which means that there's a lot of material on the internet that I've been making use of. And I found an excellent wiring diagram that I'm using to not only tell me the gauges of wires that I'm going to need, but where everything connects and hooks up. So my ST wire goes from there and connects on the solenoid, well, not on the solenoid, but the lower 3/8 bolt there. So I'm going to be doing that. This is my 12 gauge wire. Now, in all the material that I've read, a common theme is that do not go with household wire. Use marine wire. It's better insulated. It's tinned so the copper doesn't corrode. Connection lasts a lot longer. Also, I'm using Anchor marine grade terminals, which are also tinned, and on top of that I'm heat shrinking everything. So I'm going to pause the video and get set up for the heat shrink and show you how that works. Okay, now I've connected my heat gun and I'm ready to apply the heat to the shrink wrap, or the heat shrink. Now, I've labeled mine. You can decide whatever it is that you want for a label, but for my labeling system, I'm just going to use IGN for ignition switch, -ST for the ST connection. Now, for 12 gauge wire, which this is, I couldn't get a 1/4 inch heat shrink wrap over that, so I had to resort to 1/2 to 1/4 inch, which I'm hoping is not too big. It's a little bit difficult to, oh, it says 10 to 2 AUG. So why couldn't I get this over the top? This is 18 to 10 AWG. Well, this one says 2 to 1 reduction and 2 to 10. Well, something's going to get wasted if this doesn't shrink down. So let's find out what happens. over. Do the other side. Really need another pair of hands here. Okay. Some of the paint, it's okay because so it looks like that size is going to work. Okay, everybody. Well, I wanted to. Here's the water pump, and as you can see, the impeller has been put back into it now. I was going to replace the seals myself, and I couldn't find anything instructional that could really show me how to do it where I felt confident that I wasn't going to damage the pump somehow. And I mean, there were a couple of videos on YouTube, but these guys were using homemade tools and like using a socket to bang it out and a vise, and I don't have any of that stuff handy. So I bit the bullet and had my harbor master slash marine mechanic take care of it for me. So $50 is what it cost, and it's in place. The new seals are there. All I have to do now is put it back onto the engine and hook up hoses. But before I do that, this is what the seals look like when they are removed. And if I remember right, this side was facing up here, like that. You know, tap down there. So you need something called a puller to remove it. And one of these is the water seal, another one's an oil seal, I think. I don't have one. It's getting... You know, my wife informed me yesterday I'm spending too much time on the boat. Her vacation is going to be over with shortly. So I want to get the boat in the water as soon as I can. Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. So I went ahead and paid for it, had it done. It's done correctly. It's a pretty vital part of the engine system. So I can sleep well at night knowing that it's done right. And as far as I'm concerned, it's money well spent. Now, this is what I accomplished with the engine wiring. Okay, so I've got 3 new wires attached to the starting to the ignition switch, and those go down and attach into the engine. I've got the compartment cover on, so it's a little difficult to see right now. I'll show you again later. So now the only thing I got to do with regards to the engine is install the fuses inline, 140 amp, 120 amp. The 40 amp goes into my 8 gauge wire, and the 20 amp goes into my instrument wire, which is going to connect to the water temperature, oil pressure, and voltage meters. And when that's done, I will get some light in there so you can see what's going on. Okay. Now, if you recall, when some of the earlier videos, I showed you the state of the tow rail here, and the rub rail, and I still have to do the stern, but that's what the rest of the boat looked like. And I didn't go overboard on this because I'm going to eventually replace it with plastique. That might cause some of you to say, hey, it's not wood. Well, yeah, I know, that's the point. I'd rather be sailing instead of sanding and varnishing. And yeah, plastique is artificial, but it lasts forever. And it doesn't hardly have any of the maintenance. It can be sanded, stained, you can do what you want with it. So judge me if you want, but I'll be sailing, you'll be sanding. Anyway, this isn't quite as pronounced. You can see some of the daylight coming through there. So I was going to screw this in, but in a lot of places, like here, there's not much to screw into. I think that's part of the reason why the tow rail is separating from the rub rail. And that noise you hear in the back, somebody is sandblasting their hull. That's going to be part of my project for next spring when I paint the hull. But let me see, I'll get you to, yeah, this is a lot more pronounced. Here, see that? That's really, in fact, I might have to screw that in along with the epoxy. So I went and got some sealant, and the sealant I'm going to use is flexible, and that's for a reason, because I'm going to be removing this stuff in the spring next year, and I don't want to have to take off parts of the hull and the deck with it. This is what I'm going to be using. Not getting paid, no endorsement, but according to the advertising here, where did it say? It is highly flexible, which means it should be easy to, oh, it's on the packaging, which means that it'll be easy to remove. So I got this from Home Depot. You can get some decent marine products there, save a little bit of money. But I'm going to seal it. I'm going to put it in, clamp it down. Cures in 24 hours. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the weather will hold. We're supposed to get some rain. But while that's curing, I'll be cleaning out the bilge. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the noise. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a bit of daylight coming through there where the tow rail meets the rub rail, but you can see why I wanted to do this while it was on the hard. I've got a much better angle of attack. There we go, down here. And I just squirted it up as best I could, and then I went at it again from the deck and squirted some down. Again, this is makeshift until I get what I really want on here, which is the plastique. So, or Trex, I think makes some as well. So I'm going to get another plant over here, and we'll see what becomes of this in 24 hours. Okay, I'm back, and if you recall, I showed you a picture of the tow rail and the rub rail, and in pretty bad shape. Actually, you can see there's a portion of it there I couldn't get to with my angle grinder. That's what I used. But it did a nice job of stripping off what was there. Got some separation there, as you can see. I think I can take care of that. I mean, look at that. Look at how shallow those bolts are for screws. But as I only expect this to need to hold together for one season, I'm not going to do much about it other than strip it, and now I'm going to boil it, and that's about all the wood treatment I'm going to give. As you can see, the cockpit I still need to give some attention to, and I'll be getting to that later on. Some handrails there that are in bad shape. But for now, we're going to stick with the tow rail and the rub rail. This is what I've been using, and I got this at Home Depot as well. Just natural, and just something to give the wood some protection from the elements. After it goes on, this is the color that you get. You know, it's not bad. Better than what was there. So I'm going to do that, and you got some separation there too I got to take care of. And then I'm going to get to some wiring. So the bilge, blower, and the depth finder.